Hey everyone, and welcome back to a brand new Explainer. Today, we are diving into an absolute clash of giants. We're breaking down the tactical puzzle and the betting preview for this unbelievably highly anticipated World Cup quarterfinal collision between Norway and England. So, let's get right into it.
Now, this matchup right here, it perfectly captures the raw tension of knockout football. You know the saying, this is the time nobody wanted to draw and the one everybody wanted to watch? Well, that hits the nail on the head. The stakes here are just massive. But listen, today, we're going to steer completely clear of just blindly guessing a winner. In a matchup this tight, that's literally like throwing darts while blindfolded. Instead, we're focusing strictly on the mechanics of the game. We're looking at exactly how the goals will happen. Because make no mistake about it, the goals are definitely coming.
To set the stage, we have to look at the sheer momentum both of these squads are bringing into the quarterfinal. On one side, you've got Norway. We're talking about a nation of just 5 million people, stepping into a World Cup quarterfinal for the very first time in their entire history. But let's be real, this is absolutely no underdog fairy tale anymore. They are a totally lethal attacking force. They've dropped 11 goals across their last 4 games, and they just knocked out Brazil to get here. They've scored in literally every single game. Now contrast that with England. They're arriving unbeaten in 5. They show this incredible, gritty resilience by beating the co-hosts while playing with 10 men for the last half hour. But they have conceded in each of their last 2 games. And as we'll see, that's the exact crack Norway is going to try and bust wide open.
All right, let's move to the absolute centerpiece of this match, the main event. It is a true clash of the titans, Erling Haaland versus Harry Kane. You simply can't discuss this quarterfinal without talking about the explosive head-to-head matchup between the tournament's 2 defining strikers. They are both carrying their nations right on their shoulders, but they go about it in completely different ways.
To really grasp this dynamic, we need to weigh the scales of these 2 elite forwards. On the Norwegian side, Haaland is all about ruthless efficiency. He plays right on the shoulder of that last defender, just waiting for that single, perfectly timed pass behind the line. He doesn't need a barrage of touches to destroy you. On the flip side, you have Harry Kane for England. He's already sitting on 6 goals in this tournament. He operates with sheer volume and acts as this massive, almost gravitational threat, especially in the air and on set pieces. It is 2 totally different philosophies of scoring, and honestly, both are nearly impossible to stop.
And to prove that point, just look at this number, 39%. I really want that to sink in for a second, because this single statistic anchors just how incredibly dangerous Erling Haaland has been throughout this entire tournament.
That 39%, that's his shot conversion rate. It is the best rate anyone has managed at a World Cup since 1986. Think about all the absolute legends of the game who have played since then. What this tells us is that Haaland does not need 5 or 6 half chances to punish a defense. Because of the incredible distribution he gets, mostly from Martin Odegaard, who is just brilliant at rotating the ball and waiting for the exact millisecond to release a pass, Haaland only needs 1 chance. 1 single mistake from the defense, and the ball is in the back of the net.
So, knowing the immense firepower stepping onto the pitch, this game transcends just raw athleticism. It turns into a deeply complex tactical chess match. Let's shift our discussion away from the strikers for a minute and look at the defensive vulnerabilities, the structural weaknesses that are actually going to decide who advances.
It all comes down to this one question. Can England's centre-backs, Stones and Gahey, deny the half-turn? This entire quarterfinal basically narrows down to that one specific interaction on the pitch. If Stones and Gahey can hold their line and physically force Haaland to receive the ball with his back facing the goal, England can breathe. It slows the whole attack down. But if they drop too deep or they get caught flat-footed and let him turn into space, Norway scores. It really is that simple.
But let's play devil's advocate. Let's say England does successfully block up the middle. Well, Norway has a second door they can kick wide open. Just look at England's defensive setup right now. Their right-back spot is totally unsettled. Kwanzaa is suspended, Reece James is carrying a knock and is a major doubt to even play full minutes. And Norway is perfectly equipped to exploit that exact edge with Antonio Nusa. The kid has extreme burning pace down that wing. If Norway finds the middle clogged by Stones and Gahey, they aren't going to force it. They'll immediately stretch England out and go right around that weakened right edge.
Okay, let's flip the mirror and look at England's counterpunch. Because remember, Norway has conceded a goal in all 5 of their matches so far. They are certainly not defensively perfect either. England's threat isn't going to come from long, drawn-out periods of possession or some intricate build-up play. Their threat is entirely about timing.
So here is exactly how England strikes. First, Jude Bellingham. Both of his goals against Mexico came from the exact same move, ghosting into the penalty box from the midfield just a beat before any defender realizes they need to track him.
Now, Norway has Bergen Berg in the midfield, and they're incredibly disciplined, but Bellingham's late timing is almost impossible to defend against. Nobody's solved it yet. Combine that late arrival with Harry Kane's aerial dominance, and it means England doesn't actually need to dominate the flow of the game. They just need 3 or 4 really dangerous set-piece deliveries into the box to completely flip the scoreboard.
All right, we have the tactical map. We know exactly where the vulnerabilities are on both sides. Now, let's shift focus to the final act of this explainer and talk about predicting the pattern of the match. Like I said earlier, we are explicitly moving away from just guessing a winner. Let's look at what the math and the tactical realities are actually telling us to expect.
When we look at the predictive models, they split this game into incredibly tight margins. We're talking something like 56%, 24%, and 20% across the different outcomes of a win, loss, or draw in regulation. Could England edge it out with their big game experience? Sure. Could Norway shock another giant just like they did to Brazil? They've already proven they can. The models are this tight because the margins on the pitch are razor thin. A game this evenly matched, with this much firepower, could easily push past 90 minutes right into extra time and penalties.
And there's an external factor we absolutely cannot ignore here: the weather. We are looking at heat in the high 80s with really heavy humidity for this match. The physical toll that's going to take on 2 backlines that are already carrying doubts and injuries, it's massive. So what does that mean tactically? It means there is no way this game stays locked at 0-0. As legs get heavy and that heat stretches players out late in the second half, the gaps are going to appear. This game will inevitably open up.
So, based on all this data, here are the smartest angles if you're looking at the betting patterns. First up, over 2.5 goals. 4 of Norway's 5 games have hit 3 or more goals, and so have England's last 3. Second, both teams to score. Norway has found the net in every single game, and England in 3 straight. Finally, expect a high card count. It's a high-stakes knockout game, it's incredibly humid, which makes players tired and sloppy, and you have 2-star strikers who are going to get kicked all game long. Expect those bookings to fly for both sides.
But here is a super crucial insider tip directly from the source material if you're building a bet slip. Both teams to score and Holland to score are basically the same outcome wearing 2 hats. Mathematically speaking, Holland scoring is how Norway scores. If you stack them together, you aren't really doubling your edge, you're just making the exact same call twice. You have to treat it as one unified prediction. So as we wrap up this tactical breakdown, here is your exact checklist for what to watch for on the pitch. Don't just follow the ball, watch for these patterns. Step 1. Watch to see if Norway successfully springs Holland behind Stones and Gahi, or if Noose is just cooking England's right back. If they do that, Norway will get their goals. Step 2. Watch to see if England can hold that defensive line and survive long enough to let Bellingham's late runs and Kane's set pieces strike. And honestly, the most likely truth is that both of these things are going to happen. The goals are going to flow at both ends.
I'm definitely not calling a winner today because it is simply too close to call. And frankly, it's shaping up to be way too good of a match to just reduce down to who advances. But a game that breaks the 2.5 goal line with both teams finding the net, that is a pattern the data heavily supports. So now I want to hear from you guys. What is your final score prediction? Tell us down in the comments. And hey, don't forget to subscribe to @KickoffCall7 so you never miss another explainer. Enjoy the match, everyone.